Welcome to Clean Radio. It's Andrew Spanswick. I'm here with Judah Friedman, my co-host. Clean Radio is a show about addiction and recovery, and we're excited about tonight. We have a great show where we'll be taking calls from people who have problems with current addiction or great stories about the recovery of their addiction. And we're really looking forward to it. Judah, who the hell are you?
Who the hell? That's a great question. I've been dealing with in therapy with that for about 35 years, but I'm here on Clean Radio. I also contribute to newspapers around America with sarcastic and sometimes funny editorials. And you're listening to us on KFWB, News Talk 980 Los Angeles, or News Talk 760 KFMB San Diego. And we now welcome in New York on AM 1600 WWRL. Which is pretty exciting. Welcome, New York.
Yeah, welcome, New York.
My hometown.
Very excited. Yeah, I grew up in central New York.
Yeah,
so.
that doesn't count.
Why do people say that? That's
because
not fair.
Because it doesn't. It's like, you know what it is? It's
but
like,
you know what? I lived in New York City.
right,
So
that sort of counts, but I'm from New York. I'm from Brooklyn.
Oh, so
and that's real New York.
Because you had more bad hot dogs
it's the five boros. Remember,
right.
We don't want to offend people from New York tonight. No, but you're from Ithaca. Like, if you have to drive 5 hours...
which doesn't even have hot dogs.
Right, because it's too cold. If you have to drive 5 hours away, that's not exactly New York. But, we are a show about addiction and recovery, and we welcome our new listeners in New York with any questions you might have. And I think, one of the things we're talking about, is painkillers. I mean, the explosion of painkillers today is insane.
Yeah, it's funny because, we've known for a while that this has been such a bad problem. At least the last 4 or 5 years, there's been this huge just boom in the use of prescription drugs. And it's been going on a little bit before that, but it's really been booming. And it's just the Whitney Houston thing obviously is throwing it over the top. Although, it's funny, you would have thought Heath Ledger would have done it, Nobody really went after his doctors or...
Well, I mean, right, because that was almost the beginning of it. That was like, this young guy and, you sort of... Because everybody's doing... so many people are doing it.
This is the best of Clean Radio, heard every Sunday night at 8. For more on the show, go to cleanradio.com. That's clean with a K. If you or someone you know is in need of immediate addiction assistance, call 888-601-6040.
Jessica from Long Beach. Jessica, welcome to Clean Radio.
Hi, thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome. How are you doing?
I found your show a couple weeks ago, and it's just very interesting that, now I have my own question for you.
Well, let's hear them. What's going on?
Well, it's not really about me, but, I got married a little early, like I was about 20, and we're 25 now, my husband and I, and when we were younger, we had a lot of fun in our early 20s, but now, like with the drinking, it seems like he drinks more and started kind of getting into episodes of kind of drinking into oblivion a little bit and hung over a lot more, and I just feel like he's pulling away out of our relationship, and
when you were 20, was drinking a big part of your relationship? Did the things that you did together socially, was it around drinking?
It was going out to clubs and parties, but nothing, not like a really everyday thing until, recently. Right. Maybe in the past couple years, it just seems his moved up into stronger and more and longer and...
Are there other drugs as well, or is it just mostly alcohol?
Well, not that I know of, but sometimes I feel like we kind of drink in the same capacity, but he's going somewhere else. Like, he's like either more passed out or more drunk, and that's why I'm like, I don't, I've tried to bring it up to him, but he doesn't really admit to anything else.
Does he get angry?
Sometimes, yeah, and then just says that it's nothing to worry about or it's nothing different than it was, but...
It's famous alcoholic lines.
Well, Jessica, it's definitely, you're dealing with what a lot of people see where people begin to have problems with alcohol, and it's met with the initial stage of denial of the person that has the problem with alcohol. And the fact that you're recognizing it and then he's not being able to hear it, that's very, very common. So you shouldn't feel weird about that. That's very normal.
Well, and I think, too, like, his father left when he was really young, and from what his mom said, he was an alcoholic, but he doesn't really have a lot of recollection of his dad, too. But then I was like, okay, well, if it's in the family, but he didn't really, like, grow up with that, is he still prone to it? And I think that's in the back of my head, too, is that something I have to worry about.
Well, if genetically there's alcoholism in the family, there's a good chance that, a better than average chance that, he's at a higher risk for alcoholism, but that's not necessarily true. The other thing is that, there could be other things going on with him besides drinking. You need to think about those too, whether he's on a medication that you don't know about or whether he might also just be depressed. I don't know what other life circumstances are going on. So he might be in the initial stages of self-medicating depression or anxiety. All those issues you'd want to address and rule out, as well as, of course, make sure that all the drinking is under control and moderate. How much is he actually drinking?
Well, sometimes we'll have some beers and then sometimes some cocktails, but then he's doing more shots and kind of starting to dabble with scotch.
Right. Well, when people move to liquor, when people move from wine and beer to liquor, that's generally a dramatic shift. If that's where they've gone in that direction, that they're moving towards a state of alcoholism, because
they want to get there quicker.
Well, it happens more quickly.
Right.
And it actually happens. People that just drink beer, it's harder for them to sort of actually get an effect from the alcohol. They just sort of stay a little drunk, but they don't really get any kind of rush or relief from it. And that's why you see, long-term alcoholics really move towards liquor.
Well, and he's starting to, now drink more on his own. Like if I come home from work and he's already drinking, and then starting to call in sick.
Well, you're mentioning all the classic alcoholic things. You're drinking in private, isolating, missing work, problems with the family, increasing the amount of drinking, increasing in the type of alcohol to more concentrated alcohol. I mean, right there's eight classic symptoms of alcoholism.
Yeah, and there's also all the lying and covering up that, I think your impulses or your instincts are good, that he's got a problem. And so it's really important that you don't deny your instincts, because that's when partners of alcoholics and addicts start to feel like they're going crazy. And the addicts will say, oh, you're making a mountain out of a molehill, or you're imagining things, but don't let that wear on your self-esteem. It's really important.
So what should Jessica be doing for herself?
Well, I would recommend that she go to Al-Anon. I think you can get a lot of support in Al-Anon. You'll meet other people, women and men, that are struggling with this same kind of murky place you're in of not knowing if what they're seeing is what they're really seeing. And so helping people help you set boundaries and really take good care of yourself so your self-esteem doesn't slide down with his drinking is important for your well-being.
Jessica, I think this is one of those, when they tell you in the airplane, make sure you put the oxygen mask on yourself before you put it on your child. It seems sort of, crazy to go that way, but it makes sense, because if you can't be in a position that you can help him, then you're both going to fall into a trap that can be very ugly. So
but then how do I can see that for me, and then what about for, what, I know I can't, I know he
Are you asking how do you intervene?
But I can't ever imagine leaving him. But
I didn't hear her. What?
Leaving him.
Oh. Well, that's not even in the cards, right? Yeah, that's...
There's so much, Jessica, it's not as doomsday, end of the world as often people present it as. There's many, many people every day that get help for treatment of alcoholism and drug addiction. And they get better. And they can live long, fruitful lives without having the effects really destroy them. What's interesting is that in the last few years, people have been intervening sooner and sooner in the process of addiction. So while it used to be like, yeah, he's drinking too much, but, wait till he gets a couple DUIs and maybe goes to jail, and then we'll have a talk with him about it. And luckily he's with someone that sort of is recognizing these patterns early and has an opportunity to have a conversation with him that might save somebody's life or his life, or might, if nothing else, greatly improve his life and your life together.
And Dr. Alex, let me ask you a question about Jessica. I'm sure she's going through this right now, the feelings of inadequacy or insecurity. What go to Al-Anon is, basic. What else?
Well, I think you could get into your own therapy if you wanted to, if that was available to you. There are all sorts of people that work with drugs and alcohol. There are pay what you can clinics. But I mean, I agree with what Andrew's saying. This is not about you leaving him. You don't have to go anywhere. But by you taking a stand, by you being strong and gathering information and getting clear about what you need, what he possibly needs, you're doing yourself and your family a service. This is about keeping your family together. So
I think just, and this is me speculating, but having worked with a lot of families with alcoholism, Jessica, as you address your partner who's in denial of having a problem, the natural reaction for someone in denial to have is anger. And sometimes that anger is taken out on you, or at least appears to be taken out on you, when it's really taken out on the fact that you're confronting them about the fact that they have a problem.
Yeah, and that anger can come from shame a lot of times too, right?
Exactly, right.
Jennifer, why don't you take our 800 number and
our 888 number.
Your 888 number, and all these questions, we talk about it with you for absolutely free. Any questions you might have.
Yeah, we actually have a great treatment advisor, I think, on right now tonight. Yeah. His name's Joe, and let me give you the number for him. Give him a call, and he can help you with resources in your area, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, just stay on the line and they'll give you the number, okay?
Okay.
All right, great. Thanks, Jessica. Thanks for calling.
Are you struggling with an addiction that's ruining your life? Want to have a confidential conversation with a professional that will immediately assist you? Do you suspect a loved one is abusing drugs and would like a free drug testing kit and consultation? KLEAN Treatment Center is standing by right now to help those with addictions and the people who care about them. Call 888-601-6040. That's 888-601-6040. Or go to KLEAN Treatment Center, that's clean with a K, cleantreatmentcenter.com.
Talk about something very, obviously we got this huge story in the news. It's been going all around. And I don't know anything about this other than what I read in the news. It's the guy in Florida, the homeless guy that sadly had his face bitten off.
Sadly, it was terrible.
It was terrible. It was terrible.
And he got
it's cannibalism. It's cannibalism. And the amazing thing about this, and I was talking to Rand, our producer, outside about this, is that you always hear about people complaining when cops shoot somebody. This is the one time where everybody's like, God, they did a good thing. I don't even want to know what the rest of the story is, but they shot this dude good. And if somebody ever is chewing my face, I allow the police to just shoot the guy as quickly as possible.
I honestly got so sad for both of them, but I mean, extremely sad for the man who's in critical condition. I was talking to someone about that, the effects of drugs and alcohol and what it does to you, but also the effects of mental disorders. Right. Like people, if they stop taking their medication, like things like that occur, or like they start like killing people while driving and all this stuff. It's like, it's so extremely sad, from the report just saying he was actually a really nice guy.
Right.
Off drugs.
But okay, so let's get to this. They're saying he was on bath salts.
Bath salts.
What? I know both of you know this. I don't know what. I know a little bit. What are bath salts? Not the kind that you chill, relax in the bath with.
Which is what you immediately think that's what that is.
They are called bath salts.
Well, they're not what we put in our bathtubs, like Epsom salts or anything. But they do market them as bath salts, and they're being called the new LSD. Mm-hmm. Basically, you take the worst attributes of meth, coke, PCP, LSD, and ecstasy, and you put them together, and you have bath salts.
That's and how do you use them? Do you sit in a bath?
No, don't you snort it?
You can snort it, you can smoke it, you can eat them. I mean, you can do pretty much anything.
And why do they put them? Is it that they're putting them in bath salts to hide them, or is that?
Well, by marketing them as bath salts and labeling them not for human consumption, they have been able to sell them legally at head shops and mini marts, similar to the way that people get away with selling Whippets as like head cleaner or cassette cleaner.
This is the best of KLEAN Radio, heard every Sunday night at 8. For more on the show, go to KLEANradio.com. That's clean with a K. If you or someone you know is in need of immediate addiction assistance, call 888-601-6040.
Let me ask you this, too, because this brought up another question that we started talking about. You know, because sometimes we do, and I know it's not a joke, but, you know, we do joke about, borderline alky because, you know, there were those earlier days when we were younger where we did binge drink a lot, and then, you know, then we move into wine or beers, and, you know, and then we have a weekend like this, and, you know, sometimes it is kind of crazy that, okay, yeah, we kind of know, like, we were going to binge drink, you know, when we got out here, and then we're gambling, and, you know, the whole thing. And I only say this, too, because I'm like, well, I don't feel so like it's just us because...
So what?
It's not just me, or it's not just us two, like my friend and I that I'm talking about.
Right. There's a lot of people doing it.
Right. Let me just say this. A perfect example. The alcoholic isn't driving back right now. Okay, that's the difference between somebody
Hopefully
that's going right, or you know what I mean. There's somebody that's going to have fun, you know, and all that stuff. The alcoholic, if he goes to Vegas, is staying in Vegas.
I would say though, Michelle, that the people don't generally know when they cross that line.
True.
You know, for people that progressively drink over time more and more, they like are shocked sometimes by the stories they hear the next day about that they, you know, call their friend a bunch of nasty names, or that their friends couldn't get them back to the room and that they fought with them. And then episodes like that start happening more and more. Maybe they get a DUI, you know, they actually break up with somebody, an important relationship. So, you know, that's the sort of thing to look out for. And those are all warning signs that alcoholism's, you know, really coming down the pike. And what we're seeing now is people actually are getting sober earlier instead of getting into sort of late stage alcoholism, which you see typically in people that go to AA, and what the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous was actually written for was for late stage alcoholics. We're seeing people now at younger ages realizing that there's consequences to their drinking, and that, you know, they have to do something about it. Okay, we got John from Fallbrook, California. John, welcome to Clean Radio.
Hi.
How are you doing tonight? What's going on?
I'm all right. No, I'm having a little bit of drama with the wife, and I wanted to get you guys' opinion.
Okay.
Probably just a doctor kind of. I mean, sorry. Just Alex would probably be the best on this one. Go ahead, John.
I sliced my arm open pretty bad a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
How'd you do that?
There's a mirror in the by the trash cans.
That was an accident?
Yeah, it was an accident.
Oh, okay.
Complete accident. Went to the doctor. Doctor stitched me up, 13 stitches. You know, it's a pretty deep slice.
Wow.
Anyways, he gave me some pills for the pain.
Mm-hmm. What were they?
I don't even know.
Okay.
I think they're Percocet.
Percocet? Okay.
I don't know. Not really in too much pain, but I noticed that I'm still taking them. Okay. And wife is getting on my nerves, and I don't know, I just feel like I get more done during the day. It's weird. It's just a weird feeling about these pills, that I don't feel like I'm addicted to them, but at the same time, I feel like I have a clearer head. It's not even like...
You might be what they call habituated to them, which is not addicted. So, how many did he give you? 20, probably?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, and you've been on them less than a week, so there's no way for you actually to have developed a physical addiction to them yet, but you could still be feeling slight withdrawal symptoms from the comfort that it sort of gives you. Like, it will give you like a shady sort of feel or soft feel about things. And you might be trying to hold on to that feeling. That's a good sign to stop taking them.
Right.
Stop taking them now and forget about that feeling.
Yeah, even if it means your wife nagging you.
Yeah, right.
Well, I'm trying to understand.
It makes me feel high.
I don't think. See, feeling high is a very undefinable thing, especially when it comes to things like opiates. We've become so extreme in our culture. We expect, like, you're going to take one hit of pot and then you're going to be, your arm isn't going to move and you're going to be drooling and laughing on the floor. While, in the 1960s, they thought maybe you might giggle a little bit. So a lot of drugs have gotten a lot stronger. People now expect the effect of the drugs they take to be much more extreme. You're taking an opiate. It's a moderate opiate if it's Percocet. It's in the same class, similar to oxycodone. So you're not dealing with something that's, potentially harmless, but it has the potential to quickly build tolerance and become addictive, especially if you like it.
I think Alex also wants to know what's going on with you and your wife.
Well, I just thought it was interesting. You said your wife is kind of on your nerves, and I can't tell if she's on your nerves because of the pills that you're taking.
Because of the pills.
So she's nagging you about getting off of them. Is that what you're saying?
She doesn't want me to become, I guess, pill addict.
Well, also, you probably don't recognize your behavior versus how you feel.
Right.
With people that are taking prescription drugs, especially opiates, believe it or not, you actually tend to become more agitated to the people around you. It's a very common sort of reaction. You'd think a lot of people think, heroin or opiates, and you just sleep and nod off on the couch. But low levels of opiates tend to cause aggressive and agitated behavior in the people that are taking them, especially early on. So, you had a small dose of opiates, you cut your arm, your stitches have healed. I'd go ahead and how many pills you got left?
No, not much. Maybe one or two.
One or two. Just flush the last two. And, call us back next week if you're having a problem.
Yeah, seriously, give us a call back next week and just to let us know what's cooking.
Yeah, tell us what happens next week after not taking them for a week. See if, your sort of normal personality returns. And
I bet you if we asked your wife, she would tell us that you're a different person on these things.
Especially after 3 or 4 days from now, once it's all your symptoms.
For Valentine's Day.
Yeah, get her some chocolate. Yeah. No, feed it to her, according to our last guest.
Feed it to her, right. Have her feed you chocolate and something reverse. I think one of the coolest things is, we see this on a daily basis. You see people come into rehab, and really the biggest thought they have is why? Why should I keep on? What's the point? And the point is because there's an amazing life after.
Right.
This isn't
and
just
not just for famous people.
Right.
I mean, it's great that Lee Steinberg, famous agent, can come on and talk about how, he reached great heights and then lost everything from alcohol, and he's obviously coming back strong again. But, for the regular people out there that, started having a problem with prescription drugs or alcohol or mental illness and are self-medicating with alcohol or drugs, there really is hope out there. And I'm glad that we were able to share that with this show tonight.
This is the best of KLEAN Radio, heard every Sunday night at 8. For more on the show, go to KLEANRadio.com. That's KLEAN with a K. If you or someone you know is in need of immediate addiction assistance, call 888-601-6040.
So we've got Rhonda from Sherman Oaks. Rhonda, welcome to KLEAN Radio.
Thank you for taking my call. I have a 24-year-old son who has an alcohol problem, who refuses to believe he has an alcohol problem, and I don't know how to help.
Okay. Why do you say he has an alcohol problem? What's he been doing? What's been going on?
Well, what I can see is he's binging. His father had the same issue, and it grew into drugs and alcohol. It started with the alcohol. And he's drinking probably 2-3 times a week, sometimes starting early in the morning. Can't keep a job. Absolutely believes everybody in the world is against him, including God.
It sounds like alcoholism.
I think he qualifies.
Yeah.
Judah laughing, but it's just because of the irony that, and I can understand, that it's a painful situation for yourself and your son, but what we're laughing about is that it's hard for us to recognize, or hard for, I think, people that aren't alcoholics to recognize that the alcoholic really is sort of self-obsessed with their drinking and doesn't really see the damage that they're doing to the family members around them until they get sober.
I also identify a lot,
and that's what I'm saying. So
is right when I was it was like I was that 22-year-old kid that, I couldn't hold a job, drinking like that, blamed God, blamed everybody for everything.
So let's ask you, Judah, what was it that really broke through to you? I mean,
you want to know? Around my parents getting help, and I mean that from my mom and dad. And I always joke about this when I speak at meetings, and I always used to say, thank God my parents found Al-Anon because they stopped believing that meetings cost $10 a week to go to. And because I had convinced my parents that AA cost money. and this time when I was getting sober, they didn't believe that anymore. All they gave me was like $1.50 for a token to get to Manhattan. And they had started to get help for themselves. And those things that I was able to do to them, like holding them hostage, stopped working. And that's why a big thing that we recommend is for the family to get help.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's important for you to understand exactly what alcoholism is and how alcoholics behave and how they manipulate people around them not necessarily purposefully to hurt you, but to be able to continue in their own addiction and their use of alcohol. It becomes that important to them that they sort of lose sight as to, what they're doing and what they're saying and how they're affecting the people around them.
What does he say to you when you say to him he has a problem?
Oh, that I don't know what I'm talking about.
Right.
That he doesn't have to. He just likes to.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Everybody else in the world drinks. What's the problem? I'm an adult. I'm over 21. It's your problem.
Where does he live?
My house.
Okay. Where does he get money?
He will work for a couple of days doing telemarketing or whatever it takes to make a couple of bucks, and then he ends up losing the job.
Right. Well, Andrew and I are very against tough love. We're not the people that you're going to call and we're going to say, kick your kid out, because we believe things like that only get worse. But what we do suggest a lot of times is raising the
bottom
right.
of expectations that make it harder for him to get by, but don't give
right.
up on the concept that you love him. I think that one of the and I think you heard maybe if you're listening earlier to Paul, it was finally he had an intervention from family members and he finally felt some relief, and he obviously Paul's a little bit older than a 24-year-old.
Just a little.
Yeah. But so sometimes it takes a little while, but there are limits that you can set that are perfectly reasonable. So you don't want to just be, you're an alcoholic or you have a problem with alcohol. I'm just going to kick you out on the street and I don't love you or I love you, but I'm going to love you by making your life as impossible to deal with as ever. What you want to do is, in my opinion, is to try and make it harder for him to drink and not take responsibility for the consequences of his drinking. So, for example, if drinking has him lose a job, then there should be some sort of consequence for that. And, if he's living at your house, you should be paying rent. He's 24 years old. So there's one thing where you could say, hey, you know what? I love you. I want you to live here for as long as you need to, but you're going to have to be responsible and pay some rent. And that means keeping a job. So, there's one consequence. And if you can't, then you're going to have to start looking for somewhere else to live. And if you can't find a place within, 4 weeks, then we're going to have another discussion about what you're going to do. But you really need to do this in partnership with a counselor who can help you, because one of the things that's really, really effective is doing what we call contracting, where you actually work with your son, with a therapist, and you come up with a set of rules. And you contract. You both talk about what your needs are and what his needs are, how you feel about it, how he feels about it, and then you make a contract together about what the expectations are for him to do to stay living with you in your house. And then if he doesn't break that if he breaks the contract, then there's consequences.
Yeah, we wrote out a contract when he first moved in 2.5 years ago.
And how is that? How have you kept your part of the contract?
Not yet.
You see, that's the thing.
That's the enabling part.
Rhonda, we
right.
really listen. I mean, one of the big reasons, and my mother and my father used to say, as long as my son's alive, there's a chance. And I put my parents through the ringer. All of us in here put our family through the ringer. So we totally get what you're going through. But now it's time for you to get help for yourself, because you shouldn't have to do this by yourself. I'm a New Yorker, and I loved it. I grew up going to the city, going to CBGBs on Saturday nights with my friends, and, we'd go out to Cafe Juan. We'd go to these places, and it was cool. It was really cool. It was like this rite of passage to go and get drunk. But then one day, it wasn't any more fun. It was like, it used to be, let's all go together to the city. Then it was me buying, bottles of Crazy Horse at the local bodegas. And if people aren't familiar with Crazy Horse is, it tastes like gasoline. And, you have a problem when you start thinking about, and I've thought about this a lot, is when you start thinking that it's cheaper to drink before you go out. Right. You have a problem with alcohol.
You got to get drunk before
right, you got to, and
out.
You hear
right.
people say this a lot.
Well,
it's
like binge drinking in college is like that.
Right.
But this is beyond that.
Right, because then you're doing it with people.
Yeah, hopefully.
But right, if you're buying a bottle of vodka before you go to a Yankee game, you might have a problem.
Yeah.
And I got sent to rehabs all over. And I remember I was in this sober living halfway house in Mesa, Arizona, and this guy saved my life. His name was Russ Drinkwater, and he used to say to me, "You have to get sober."
Was he a Native American?
No, I don't know. He might have been. He was 75, 80 years old. This guy was really instrumental.
And his name was really Drinkwater?
Yeah, Russ Drinkwater. And
what's the odds of that?
I don't know.
I don't believe it.
And what's the odds of that? I met this guy at a sober living, and he ran it. He's just a cool dude. And he goes to me, "You got to get sober in the place where you come from." And he goes, "You have to see." He said to me, "I want you have to get a sponsor who's married, has kids. You have to see that this thing works." And when you're drinking and people tell you stuff, it's like a fortune cookie. You're like, yeah. And I went back to Brooklyn, and that was it. I caught this. I went to 12-step meetings. I started something I thought would never work for me, because a lot of people like me, I was in 6 rehabs.
See, I think a lot of it's cumulative, though. You go to first rehab, maybe it doesn't work for some people. Sometimes it works the first time. Then sometimes it takes 2 times. Then maybe they might go to 12-step meetings, or there's a combination in there. I don't think any one particular event necessarily makes or breaks it for an individual. There's something about the cumulative amount of knowledge and experience in the work of trying to get sober that's necessary.
Now, I think that's a great point, because first of all, I knew it was there when I needed to get help. And I think that's very important, that you constantly talk about, is that I knew the 12 steps were there whenever I was ready to get it.
This is the best of Clean Radio, heard every Sunday night at 8. For more on the show, go to KLEANradio.com. That's clean with a K. If you or someone you know is in need of immediate addiction assistance, call 888-601-6040.
Sorry about that.
Manuel.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
How are you?
Listen, I want to know how I can stop drinking. What can I substitute my liquor with so that I can easily transition into just stop drinking? Because I've tried it. I've done it for about a couple of months, and then all of a sudden I go back to it. And I have read a lot of stuff online, like you could drink orange juice, or you could eat celery, or I just need a natural way where I can stop drinking so that I can get rid of addiction.
Okay, that's actually a great question, Manuel. Listen, I haven't had a drink, thank God, in over 13 and a half years. A great suggestion would be, other than you're trying to do the healthy, celery
organic,
and the organic,
natural
right?
way.
There's also, I found for myself, and I only speak for myself, Manuel, that I went to 12-step meetings. Have you ever been to a 12-step meeting?
No.
That would be a good. That would. Sorry.
I think I have to.
I think Manuel, and whereabouts do you live? In Los Angeles, not the exact address.
Los Angeles, like on the west side.
Okay.
On the People Fairfax area.
Okay, I want to tell you, Manuel, you are blessed, because you are in an area where there are hundreds upon hundreds of meetings that go on a week.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, thousands, right? There are meetings in the Los Angeles area that go on all day long, and that would be my first suggestion to you. Would be, to get into contact with Alcoholics Anonymous. You call them up on the phone and you say, "Hey, where is there a meeting in my area?" And I'm not just telling this to you. I'm telling this to everybody out there, Manuel, that's going through what you're going through. And I could guarantee you within an hour there's a meeting.
Yeah, there is. And the reason why I think, Judah, may I interrupt here?
Yeah, always.
is saying that is because going to those meetings, they don't save your life and you don't just stop drinking overnight, but it's a support team, and you start realizing, Manuel, that there's a lot of people out there that think like you, act like you, and do what you do, right, and try to stop like you. So
you don't feel like you're alone. Manuel, so what are you going to do today, right? This is what I'm going to suggest to you, okay? You ready?
Yeah.
The second you get off the phone with me, I want you to go, the second you get off the phone with us, I want you to call, or we have it on our website, actually, on KLEANradio.com, or KLEANradio.com. We have the number for Alcoholics Anonymous. We have the number for, give them a call and ask them when the next meeting is.
And tell them what area you live.
And tell them what area you're in. Will you do that?
Yeah, I have to.
You have to, right. Do you have insurance?
I do. I have Kaiser.
That's okay. So another thing I would recommend is, even if it's just, how long have you been drinking for?
I've been binge drinking for about I think it's been till 2007.
Okay, so you've basically been binge drinking for about 5 years. That's a long time, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not a doctor, but I would suggest maybe seeing a doctor in the beginning too.
Especially because alcoholism is the worst withdrawal symptoms.
And it can kill you.
Yeah.
I mean, that was my thing, was booze. And I know it was really hard to stop. I would stop for a couple months, and I would start again. And I couldn't. You ever have that feeling, Manuel, where you know you're an alcoholic, but you just don't understand it? Did that make any sense?
I know it makes sense. What it is that I don't know why I revert back to it. I just go back, and I know that it's because of issues and problems.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to tell you what my I used to think my feelings could kill me, Manuel. And I mean that. I used to think that if I felt too much, I would die. And I heard somebody in New York say when I was getting sober, they said nobody's tombstone said they died of their feelings. And I think what happens is you're a couple months sober and the pain gets great. I'm speaking for myself what happened, and I couldn't handle it. And I would drink again. And this time getting sober, I had that day. And that day I didn't drink when the pain was so bad, Manuel. And when I stayed sober through that, I knew I never had to drink again. Mm-hmm. And that's the steps you're going to learn when you get help.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Is that when you're in these days of pain and you're sober for a couple months, you're going to have a support group that's going to be around you that's going to say, you know what, Manuel, you don't need to drink today. Mm-hmm. So will you stay on hold? I'm going to have sorry, Jennifer.
One more thing. The thing, what you said, Manuel, though, is why you don't know why you can't stop. It's because you have the gene and you have a disease, and it's called alcoholism. And that's why you can't stay stopped. And that is why our problems are that we go back to using and drinking if we don't have a support team and we don't, work with our issues, but let's just get you to a meeting first.
Yeah, Manuel, do me a favor, stay on hold, and Rand is going to talk to you, but also please give us a call back next Sunday night and let me know how it's going.
Are you struggling with an addiction that's ruining your life? Want to have a confidential conversation with a professional that will immediately assist you? Do you suspect a loved one is abusing drugs and would like a free drug testing kit and consultation? KLEAN Treatment Center is standing by right now to help those with addictions and the people who care about them. Call 888-601-6040. That's 888-601-6040. Or go to KLEAN Treatment Center, that's clean with a K, cleantreatmentcenter.com.
Tony, welcome to KLEAN Radio.
Hi.
Hey, Tony.
How's it going tonight?
Great. I have a brother that's had alcoholism for a very long time. I was just wondering if there's any help to try to pull him out of that. I just heard you guys talking, actually trying to go to sleep. I get up early in the morning, but I just thought maybe give you a call to see if, I don't know, maybe a DVD, a book, a pamphlet or something.
Yeah, there's actually lots of ways you can get help. If you go to cleancenter.com, it's with a K, KLEAN center.com.
Okay.
We have tons of information on our webpage about every kind of drug addiction or type of alcoholism.
And places to go for
help.
Places
to go. And we also have free treatment advisors, so you can call at any time and get help. And we can help work with your brother or help work with you. And if we can't help you, we can find someone that can.
Yeah, these guys sound like you're really conscientious about the issue, and I just thought maybe I could send something along to my brother. So I'll look at the website.
Yeah, and listen, give us a call, even if it's just, like you're calling now to chat. We know what you're going through. We know that this is one of the hardest things when you have to deal with a family member. Paul, I know you went through this year. I don't, with somebody, with friends or with what, and it's hard for us.
Yeah.
Because
it's not debilitating. I mean, he's just not spaced out, but I know it's an issue, and I just think his life would be so much better, and if he didn't have this problem, and eventually it's going to get him.
Right.
Yeah, and the damage is cumulative. People don't realize that even if they stop, now after 25 years, he's already got some pretty significant health damages that even stopping, the consequences are going to keep coming. So, the sooner you can get somebody help, the better. And that's why I get encouraged, like people, Rhonda with their 24-year-old son, calling and trying to get help now, because you can limit a lot of potential damage. Tony, I'm going to put you on hold, and we're going to get our producer to actually give you some help, okay?
Okay, thanks.
This is the best of Clean Radio, heard every Sunday night at 8. For more on the show, go to cleanradio.com. That's clean with a K. If you or someone you know is in need of immediate addiction assistance, call 888-601-6040.
We go to a 12-step meeting. There's a 12-step meeting in a bar in L.A., right, where if you look at the bar, if you look at the walls, it's 4 dead rock stars, right? And usually I think all of them died in a bathtub.
Right.
And
in the same
that's my
bathtub.
thing. If you're going to do drugs of any kind,
don't go to the bathroom.
No, just don't take a bath.
Yeah, or sit in the toilet now. And I think it's very important because one of my favorite shows was Behind the Music. And and you know what I loved about the VH1 in the early 2000s? It was like the Recovering Alcoholics Network.
Yeah.
Okay, because they had Where Are They Now, that show.
Right.
And I used to love it because it was like all the survivor bands, like the bands that like finally they got sober.
Right.
But I always noticed that they never told what happened after. Because that's where people start as a culture. Oh, that's great. CeCe DeVille does good now. Let me turn off the TV. And
right. And I think there is an element in our culture with youth that they're feeling angry, depressed, alienated.
We've always felt that, though. That's part of youth.
It's part of growing up.
Right.
It's part of having to face responsibility and form an identity and become an individual. And the rebellion against that is largely expressed through music, and rebellion, of course, also brings with it drugs. I also think that to think that drug use in our culture or any culture, is ever going to not exist is a ridiculous concept. I mean, people have been using drugs since the beginning of time. People will always use drugs. The question is, how do people use drugs?
Well, that's why we take a more pragmatic view now, a lot of us. And even people in recovery that don't use drugs and don't like drugs. And I lost both my mother and my sister to overdose and lots of friends. What we're doing now isn't working.
Right.
We really need to get rid of that idea, expect a miracle, drug-free America and all that. It's like we know more now. And when you know more, you have to do more.
Are you struggling with an addiction that's ruining your life? Want to have a confidential conversation with a professional that will immediately assist you? Do you suspect a loved one is abusing drugs and would like a free drug testing kit and consultation? Clean Treatment Center is standing by right now to help those with addictions and the people who care about them. Call 888-601-6040. That's 888-601-6040. Or go to Clean Treatment Center, that's clean with a K, cleantreatmentcenter.com.
Take Lenora from Newark, New Jersey. Welcome to Clean Radio.
Welcome, Lenora.
Oh, good evening, panel. Excuse me. I just wanted to say I wasn't going to turn my radio on tonight, and I turned my radio on, and I heard something, and it really clicked for me. Because I've been in recovery for 17 years.
Oh, wow.
But I have chronic pain. I have back problems. So now I'm in pain management. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking that I'm relapsing.
You're not.
You're not.
Okay.
And we're all sober in here.
I'm certified, and I say no. What do you say, Doc?
Definitely not.
Definitely not. And I know it's hard.
You shouldn't feel guilty for taking medicine that's prescribed to you by a doctor for a problem that you really have, and especially when it helps. Yeah. That's why the doctor is giving you that medication. Yeah. Now, there are doctors that abuse that privilege, and they get arrested and put in jail and other things. But if you're really taking medicine that's prescribed to you for something that you know is a problem, and you're taking it within the way it's prescribed to you at the right dosages and at the right time, you should feel confident that that's the right thing to do. If you feel that you're becoming incapacitated by that medication, or that medication is affecting you in a way that you're not able to live your life because it's making you not be able to think or move, or it's affecting you more than the pain would, then you need to consider that and talk to your doctor about that immediately.
No, I don't have that problem because I take it the way I'm supposed to take it, and I go every month for my checkups. But you said something that clicked for me when you said about the pain, the drug addiction and drug dependency, and I had never heard it like that before. So that's really eased my mind when I heard that.
Yeah, and I know we all know it's hard, Lenore. But I always say when you're spiritually okay and you take medicine, it's okay. It's when you're not centered and you decide to go on something. And I shouldn't have said that because we're running out of time, but I think you know what I'm talking about. Lenore, you're probably going to meetings. You're okay. It's okay to do what you have to do. And please, everybody out there, listen to your doctor.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you so much, Lenora.
This is the best of Clean Radio, heard every Sunday night at 8. For more on the show, go to cleanradio.com. That's clean with a K. If you or someone you know is in need of immediate addiction assistance, call 888-601-6040.
I'm 35 years old. I got sober when I was 22, and obviously when you get sober young, your parents have a huge influence on your life. And my parents had a really hard time because they would constantly listen to many people telling them what to do with me. And my father used to say, listen, as long as my son is alive, there's a chance.
That's right.
And like we were talking about, that's really our philosophy, is as long as there's a chance, we're not going to give up on you. And that's why I'm not a huge fan of tough love.
Well, so many addicts are afraid of abandonment. Let's join back with Teresa. We get her back on the line.
Well, impossible is only an opinion.
Hi, Teresa. You back with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Good. Thank you for staying through the commercial break. Just to recap, you have a 19-year-old son who's been using marijuana.
Yeah.
And you're concerned about confronting him and dealing with it. Is that a good summary?
I don't want to put him down and discourage him and make him kind of stray from me, because I do believe in talking to him all the time. And
are you a single mom?
Not the tough love. Also, a lot of people keep telling me, you need to throw him out. You need to just let him hit rock bottom. But I can't do that.
And you're right for that. I mean, you throw a 19-year-old kid out, trust me, only farther worse could happen.
That's exactly
But
what
Andrew did give you the best advice, and this is the advice that, my parents finally took, was they started taking care of themselves and getting healthy themselves. Okay. And they started to get a support group. And in the end, my father used to say to me, I'm going to help you out, but the help you're going to need is when you call me, I'm not going to give you money. I'm not going to give you a place to live, but I will put you in rehab. And my father, that was what it had come down to. And I knew what you're going through now is so hard, but there is help out there and there's support. So you don't have to go through this by yourself.
I think a lot of people think that marijuana is a significant drug.
That's
another. And, marijuana has become so much stronger in the last 40 years since it really sort of hit America.
I kind of feel it's a gateway drug to maybe him starting on trying something else.
It's not even a gateway drug anymore.
It is the drug
now.
Marijuana
is so dangerous. And we're not saying this to scare people. We're not saying this, it's like the guy that came into your high school and
fried an egg on a platform or something.
One of those, one of those movies from the 50s. With people growing marijuana themselves these days, and
19-year-old son, the frontal lobe is still developing, and the brain is still developing. So things like impulse control, memory, all these very important elements of a brain working and functioning properly are still developing. And the studies show that development and growth now goes into your 20s. So at 19, he's at a very vulnerable time to be using a substance like marijuana that actually affects how the brain works.
Yes, and I can definitely prove that. He went from a 4.0 average in high school to a 2.7.
Right. So,
well, I still will say keep the communications open, because something's going on with your son, and as long as he has someone to talk to about what's really going on, and get yourself out there and get some support from people that understand exactly what you're going through.
Yeah, Teresa, there's a lot of information on our website, Clean Treatment Center or cleancenter.com. And I'm going to put you on hold as well and let you speak to Rand, who's in our studio, and he can help get you some more help, okay?
Thank you so much.
I really wish you the best of luck.
Are you struggling with an addiction that's ruining your life? Want to have a confidential conversation with a professional that will immediately assist you? Do you suspect a loved one is abusing drugs and would like a free drug testing kit and consultation? Clean Treatment Center is standing by right now to help those with addictions and the people who care about them. Call 888-601-6040. That's 888-601-6040. Or go to Clean Treatment Center, that's clean with a K, cleantreatmentcenter.com.
Hey, Callie, welcome to Clean Radio.
Oh, my God.
Sorry.
Yeah.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm calling in because of Jennifer. She tweeted that she was going to be on the show, and it gave me the courage to say that I'm not sure if I'm an alcoholic or not. I don't know what's going on if I am.
Hi,
what
Kelly,
is going on?
And what's going on? What are you questioning?
Well, okay, I can drink for literally from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed, but then I can just not drink for like months. I don't know.
You're a binge drinker.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. That's what they call it. I mean, the point is that you're drinking in excess of amount that's healthy. So, if you're drinking more than 5 drinks at a sitting, it's actually potentially dangerous drinking. So,
and is it affecting your life?
Well,
that's
yes
a yes.
And no. Yes and okay. I just took this huge history exam, and by the way, Jennifer, thanks for telling me good luck. I did well on it.
Yay, I know who you are. Oh my God, yay, you did it.
It's Power Cat 25. I tweet you all the time. She has a lot of fans. I'm telling you.
She does.
She does. That's why her new nickname is Jennifer. I have a lot of fans, Menace.
Oh my God. Okay, so, and you passed it.
Yeah, so I did well because I didn't drink the night before, and I did well, but I'm going to drink tonight, and I know it, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to drink a lot. And I don't know if that's good. I don't know, you know what I mean? It's
I love your honesty.
No, I mean,
yeah, right, go bigger.
The one thing you'll find out about alcoholics, Kelly, is that they like to talk about drinking, and they, there's a thrill in it still, even for people that are sober. And you'll find if you ever enter the recovery community with a bunch of sober people that we're always like the loudest group in the restaurant. Yeah. We're the ones that are sitting there talking, being loud,
not
obnoxious.
Listening to each other.
Right, not listening to each other. Right?
Yeah, they do that a lot.
Part of the deal. And go ahead.
I'm sorry. Just, one of the things I want to tell you, Kelly, is what I've learned through the last few years, and especially like doing the courses with you guys and stuff, is that why am I drinking? Like, and I'm suffering from a spiritual malady. And am I drinking to try to numb the pain or to try to shut the issues up, whatever they may be, from childhood to what's going on current in my life? And I'm not drinking today, but I'm saying, like, these are the reasons why we drink and we use, and when we can't shut that up, and that feeling, that guilt and remorse that we feel, or that shame or that pain that we're feeling, and it's just all of a sudden you're like, am I questioning if I'm an alcoholic or a drug addict, and in your case, alcoholic. And, if you're having doubts, I would check it out.
Are you drinking? Are you drinking by yourself tonight, Kelly?
Yeah.
That's like one of the surefire signs that drinking has become more important than life.
And are you gonna watch some depressing movies while you drink?
I
got you.
The music, the depressing
listen, just don't watch Say Anything. That was my drinking at home. I would watch Say Anything.
But this is common. We find when people become more and more alcoholic, they tend to isolate and they stay at home. Yeah. And they just drink.
I'm a student, so all I do is study, and I drink and study and drink.
Yeah. Right, but you know what, Kelly? There's so many things you could be doing.
Yeah, I was gonna say that there's
more
so much
exciting.
more.
It's like
it's
like get out
drinking.
there, go on a date. Go bowling. You're in Flagstaff, Arizona. Go shooting. I don't know. Do something. Not when you're drunk.
Go make a flag.
Yeah, go Gila monster shooting.
No, there is so much more to life, and whether it's dating, and in my case, it's like learning who I am on a daily basis right now. I'm not in that place. And especially if you're questioning, am I an alcoholic? You got to get to know yourself, and give yourself that opportunity and that chance, and see if you like yourself.
Yeah, I'm having some problems with that. I think I am covering something up, just like you were saying. It's some stuff, there's some issues and things, and I think I'm just trying to numb some things out.
Yeah. And that's
what
okay.
we do.
And that's the first thing.
It's
that's
a big part of it.
Yeah.
This is the best of Clean Radio, heard every Sunday night at 8. For more on the show, go to KLEANradio.com. That's clean with a K. If you or someone you know is in need of immediate addiction assistance, call 888-601-6040.
Hey, welcome to Clean Radio.
Clean Radio, Joe.
I am in Silverlake, but via way of the UK, as you can probably tell.
Oh, very good. I was actually born in Cambridge, so there you go.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
So anyway, and congratulations on the induction project. That's beautiful. I'm a big fan of the Miracles and of Motown, so I'm very, very happy for you. And thank you very much for the show tonight. There's a lot of very inspiring stuff. What I wanted to ask you guys is, at the moment, I've got a lot of my sober girlfriends coming to me, and, a lot of them are struggling. I think what I wanted to just kind of, reach out and kind of, put out to you guys is, how do you kind of keep your friends who are kind of going through tough times in sobriety well? How do you support them in that? And how can you kind of, because what I often say is, it's going to be okay, but I can't show you what okay looks like. And sometimes I just feel like I'm kind of missing something a little bit, or I just want to kind of, just give them all the love I possibly can. So I just wondered what your guys' experience of kind of helping your friends in that way was.
Okay, Joe, thanks for the call. I really appreciate it. That's a tough question. I think it's different for everyone, huh? I mean, that's
well, you put your arm around me when I'm going through sad times, and you say, "Judah, it's going to be okay."
It's just getting weirder every show.
Yes, it is.
This is the best of Clean Radio, heard every Sunday night at 8. For more on the show, go to cleanradio.com. That's clean with a K. If you or someone you know is in need of immediate addiction assistance, call 888-601-6040.
I think it's okay to say life's hard.
It is.
You know, and I think that's why
easy.
we're blessed. You know, being in a 12-step format and sober. It's like it's sort of like refreshing to go, man, I had a rough day. And when you're drinking, your rough day is that you couldn't get high enough, or you couldn't get drunk enough, or you
couldn't get that dealer or that alcohol.
And I think a lot about it is feelings. And one thing that's universal for all people is that we all share the same set of feelings.
But how do you it's learning to realize that feelings aren't facts. They come and they go. And also learning to communicate them and say to somebody, like, I'm uncomfortable because, like, for the first year or two, I was like, I just want to die. I want to use. I feel ugly. I feel bad. I feel and now it's like, you know, I'm really uncomfortable because, you know, I'm missing my dad today because he's no longer on this earth. Like, and everything else just kind of falls apart. And it's learning to realize and identify things and learn new terms.
We're in our last minute. I'd like thank everybody listening to Clean Radio. We're on every Sunday night between 8 and 9 on the West Coast and 11 and 12
on the East Coast.
On the East Coast, because we're in New York.
What about Mountain Time?
And we're on all the time on the internet.
At cleanradio.com. That's clean with a K.
Are you struggling with an addiction that's ruining your life? Want to have a confidential conversation with a professional that will immediately assist you? Do you suspect a loved one is abusing drugs and would like a free drug testing kit and consultation? Clean Treatment Center is standing by right now to help those with addictions and the people who care about them. Call 888-601-6040. That's 888-601-6040. Or go to Clean Treatment Center, that's clean with a K, cleantreatmentcenter.com.